Welcome to our tutorial introducing JsRates Editor. Here, we will run the sample code provided in the documentation. Now we are in a blank CalculateShippingRates.js module, in the editor page. Next, we'll paste the sample code that we copied from our documentation. Now, we have pasted the sample code. Our editor needs to have a module, which is the CalculateShippingRates.js module. The module comes by default in the app, and it cannot be deleted or removed. The sample code has different components. It imports two functions, which are the print function and the enrich item details function. The print function is used for debugging. It logs or prints variables within our code. For example, within this code we used it to print a variable called total item price, and we have given it a name as total item price. After we run this code, the value of this variable will be printed out in the output, and we can use it to debug our code. The second imported function is a very useful function. It's called enrich item details. The two functions are imported from a built-in module. The built-in module has the different functions and plugins that are useful to write our code. The enrich item details function is used to add more information to the input JSON data that is sent from a Shopify checkout page. The default JSON data has fields such as the item's name, price, SKU, and other information. The function adds more information to the JSON data item fields. For this example, it can add tags or meta fields, so we can use this additional information to write shipping rules. Let's see what our next function does. As described in the documentation, this module must export a function called CalculateShippingRates. And this function has two inputs. The first is data input and the second is an optional environment object. In this case, we don't need environment object. We can ignore the second input since it is optional. We only need the required input, which is the data JSON input. This input data will be sent to our app by Shopify whenever a customer proceeds to check out an order. This function takes that data as an input, process it, and returns shipping rate array. So for this specific example, the function adds all the cart item prices or the items inside the input data JSON. If the total item prices is greater than or equal to $100, it returns a free shipping. And this shipping rate has service name called free shipping. And its service code is FS. These are just names that we came up for this example. You have the option to provide any service name string or service code string. These are part of the required arrays that Shopify expect you to return when you calculate your shipping rate. If the total item price is less than 100, the code returns a shipping fee of $10. The shipping service name is called standard shipping and the service code is SS. It stands for standard shipping. And for this case it's free shipping and the service code stands for free shipping. So these values are pushed to the array that will be returned to Shopify and displayed to your customers at checkout. The returned array contains the required fields, which are the service name, service code, total price, description, and currency. It also contains optional fields, the minimum delivery date and the maximum delivery date. If total cart price is more than $100, then the shipping fee is 0. And if total cart price is less than $100, the shipping fee is $10. So the shipping fee would be either 0 or 10. Shopify requires the dollar value to be multiplied by 100. In this case, if the shipping cost is 10, the return value would be 10 by 100, which is 1000. The description will be displayed at the checkout to your customer. It describes the shipping rate that the customer is looking at. You can assign a specific description for each shipping rates, for the free shipping and for the standard shipping. For this example, we assigned the same value, which is a string. This is the fastest and cheapest option by far. To summarize what this function does, it takes an input data which is a data that will be sent from your checkout page by Shopify. Whenever your customer proceeds to checkout page, this function will be called and executed. The function adds all the cart prices or the item prices and compares the sum to 100. If it's greater or equals 100, it returns a free shipping. If it is less than 100, it returns a $10 shipping fee. Then the result will be returned back to Shopify. And Shopify displays the available shipping rates on the checkout page, so your customer will see your shipping rates. Next, we will save the code. Before using this code at the checkout, we should test it. To test the function, we need to have a test input data that will be used as an input to this function. We can configure the test data by going to a More Actions, and from the drop-down menu select Test Data. This test data is populated by JsRates automatically when you initially installed it. However, you should check whether it's correctly configured or not. For example, for this store, the app has selected an item. And this is the item that will be part of the input data and the quantity is 1. You can add more items if you want. Or you can select more. However, for this case we don't need all these items, we will remove them. We also have the test addresses, which are the test origin and the test destination. The test origin is automatically generated and it's the default location of your store. The test destination is a random address that we set in the app. You can change the test destination. It comes with auto-complete feature. The test data also has test currency and test locale. You can also change this as per your requirement. However, for this specific sample code, we only consider the test item or the item price. As long as we have a test item here and this has a valid price, it is sufficient to run our test. The other fields don't affect the code. So we leave it as it is. Next, let's test the code. To test we need to go to More Action. And from the drop-down menu we click Validate. Now we have run our code. Let's maximize this. And also let's go to full screen since it would be easier to see the output more clearly. This is the test or the validation result. The first field is a duration that shows our code run within 0.56 seconds. So it's fairly fast. It gives you an idea how quickly or how fast your shipping rates will be displayed at checkout. And also you need to be careful that this doesn't take very long. For example, if your code takes more than 10 seconds to run, Shopify will ignore your results and it will not display your shipping rates at checkout. This is the shipping rates that will be returned to Shopify. For this case, the item price is $24.95. So that the return shipping rate is $10, which was multiplied by 100 and returned as 1,000. It's a standard shipping. Since the product item price is less than $100, therefore the shipping price is $10. The other information that the output contains is the data, which is the input data that our function accepted and processed. It contains the origin data and the destination. These are what we have seen or set up in our test data. And the item here is also part of the test data. Normally the input data JSON which sent from Shopify includes only the product ID, variant ID, grams, fulfillment service, name, price, property, SKU and quantity. All the other information starting from here were included by the enrich item details function. For example, we have a compare at price, barcode and the item price. Within the delivery profile we have the general profile here in this case. And other information is included. Next, the print field contains the variable that we set to be printed for debugging. In this case it is the total item price and its value is $24.95. And you can also see this result in the logs under the More Actions in the drop-down menu. And click Logs. The logs lists all the execution's history. The last entry is what we have just run and it came from the editor. That's because it's a test run and here you can see the results. You can also see the summary of it on this table. The status is OK. There are no errors. This is a time and date and the duration as we've seen before is 0.56 seconds. The source is the editor. We have the origin information here. So if you click here, we see the same information that we have seen before. All the history will be kept here. You can log up to 50 results. You can log results for requests coming from the checkout, the editor or from your API. The log is very useful when there are errors. You can refer this log information to debug errors. In the next tutorial, we will see how to test this code from the checkout page. Thank you.